Texas continued changing in the 1870s. 6 years after the end of the Civil War and a decade after voting for secession, Texans finally ended Republican control. By 1873, voters had delivered the final blow. Waco lawyer and former Confederate officer Richard Koch defeated Governor E.J. Davis by a wide margin. Governor Davis simply refused to accept the outcome of the election. He claimed that there had been voting irregularities. The governor even barricaded himself in the office and ordered his militia to provide security while awaiting a ruling by the Texas Supreme Court, which he believed would support his claims. The Austin militia Davis summoned arrived and instead reported to duty with Governor-elect Koch. Davis sought support from the federal government too, but the administration of President Ulysses S. Grant refused to intervene in Texas. Davis was done. Governor Koch took over and immediately moved to undo everything that Davis had tried to accomplish. First, he wanted to overhaul the state constitution. A new body of laws would make centralizing control of power in Austin very difficult. Texans had always been skeptical of government, and the last 2 decades had only fueled that distrust. Changes in the composition of the United States Congress had also robbed Reconstruction of its momentum. A growing faction in the North grew tired of the effort as being too long and tedious and often politically abusive. These moderates found common cause with like-minded Southerners and created a new alignment of political interest within the American landscape. In the process, the freedmen were largely abandoned. They had to make their own accommodations within the larger society, and the lack of government support put them at a great disadvantage. The nation grew less concerned with issues of civil rights and became more interested in economic issues. U.S. troops that had occupied the South moved on to other missions. Governor Koch also reinstituted the Texas Rangers. He authorized 2 distinct units, the Frontier Battalion under John B. Jones and the Special Battalion under Leander McNelly. John B. Jones patrolled the frontier to provide backup to federal authorities against Indian raids, while also policing the cattle range. McNelly's mission was to settle unrest in South Texas, especially cross-border violence instigated by bandits and agitators, including Juan Cortina. Rangers became the Texas response to the lack of federal attention regarding law and order issues. There was much to do. Waves of violence and retaliation, including the Mason County War, and organized crime and vigilante groups in San Saba, Shackelford, and Bastrop counties challenged local authorities. The Rangers often arrived to settle the issue. McNelly and his men ended the Taylor-Sutton feud in DeWitt County and surrounding counties. In the Rio Grande Valley, Captain McNelly and his Rangers were not particularly careful about the different techniques they used. Extra-legal killing became commonplace. In the face of this threat, notorious scofflaws like King Fisher fled South Texas for a more settled life in the hill country. Meanwhile, as the U.S. Army ended its active campaigning in West Texas, Captain Jones and his Frontier Battalion policed the Texas frontier. They fought 21 separate Indian engagements against small bands of natives who continued to plunder ranches and homesteads. Beyond this, Jones and his Rangers were active in the Mason County War and the capture of outlaws Sam Bass and John Wesley Hardin. New rulers and rough justice had come to Texas.